I know.
I didn't think this thing's working. I don't know.
Tap, tap, tap.
Hello.
Trust me, I get a lot of grief from from children to younger peers who they all think it's hilarious when I'm trying to use technology.
I think younger peers is kind of a oxymoron.
Could be. Why the fuck is this not showing up? Because I can't find it. Let me do this real quick, and then we'll get moving. Hey, everybody.
It says it's broadcast.
That's broadcasting. I just can't find it. It's not showing up.
On your YouTube?
Yeah, as some. Oh, wait, there it is. Sorry, never mind. False alarm.
Grandpa Reedy found
It
his
really
channel.
does suck to when you get older and then something that happens and then everyone kind of laughs. You're like, no, really, I'm not old.
I swear, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Dude. It's buffering, idiot.
Okay, let's see. So, okay. Oh yeah, so there's me talking.
Hi, 9 watchers of the stream.
Oh, already?
No, I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being optimistic.
No, I mean.
Oh, you haven't tweeted it yet. So.
No, I haven't. So. Almost there. Almost there.
That's what she said.
Let's crack open these 1997 Wheaties.
Have a big old bowl of Wheaties with Budweiser on it.
Dusty ass Wheaties.
It's a very special Wheaties. I just found those in my basement.
The link is tweeted. So if you want to retweet it, the link.
Okay.
Real quick, and then we'll get started. Oh, I'm gonna drink this first. Did you need anything else to drink? Did you need some water or anything?
No, I think I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume you. Yep, there you are. Okay, and then the sword, and
I'm going to be ready here in 2 seconds to record. I'm ready if you are.
Ready.
Oh, you just start up.
Start that fucker again.
There you go. You got it. All right. Yeah.
Podcasting from the Sportique Studios, where we are 100p woke, totes on fleek, and here to say bye, Felicia, to Ratchet Weather and get lit on opening day. Goals. This is the South Stands Denver Fancast. I'm Colin Daniels without producer Scott Stafford, but with an honest-to-goodness professional comic and budding television personality from the Grolics and those who can't on True TV, Andrew Orbital. Yeah. And your host, John Reedy. Yeah! Woo! Oh, yeah. See, it's a little sudsy, isn't it? It's not just me.
Right when I cracked it, I went, oh, shit, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, guts all over the place.
That's really good. Now I'm all wet. Welcome to the show.
For all the wrong reasons, too.
All the wrong reasons. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's good to be back. It's opening day week. Well, it was opening day a little bit ago. But we've got a special guest. Andrew's with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for making the time. That's what I'm really happy about.
It's a busy dude.
You're a busy dude. We know. We just happened to catch you while you're here. You know, I had always bugged Adam many times to come back. Always busy. You guys are busy making television, making comedy. You made the time. Your co-host couldn't, and that's I think we're just going to talk about for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah,
talk about those
couldn't be bothered, so
he couldn't be bothered, could he? Yeah, we had him on the line, then he bailed out.
Well, his loss.
That's right. So, but yeah, as I think I told you before, Adam was gracious enough to come on one time. It was a while ago. We were in the old studio down south of here, and we had a good time with him. And then we kind of figured out that he was a Rockies fan. Then we figured out you guys were Rockies fans and baseball fans by extension. But you were a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, well,
no, you're
just gonna out him like that.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna jump right in. Because here's what happened. So Scott, who's not here to defend himself, when I said, hey, we're gonna get these guys to come on, it's gonna be great, we'll have a good time, and I said they're big Rockies fans, and Scott was like, well, Andrew's a big Dodgers fan, and I said, well, hold on a second, he's from Denver, well, I'd be a big Dodgers fan. So he guided me to the Purple DinoCast podcast that you did probably about a year ago, maybe a little more than that. And you explained yourself, but for a lot of people, it's the same thing. You grew up here. There wasn't a baseball team.
Yeah, we had the Zephyrs and the minor league team. I don't know if you ever went to Zephyrs game. But my favorite player was Will Clark. And so by extension, I was a San Francisco Giants fan. And when I was growing up, we didn't have a TV. We didn't live out on the prairie or any good reason. Our TV got stolen, our house got robbed, and then my parents never replaced it. So I would listen to baseball on the radio and reenact it with baseball cards, like the saddest way for a kid.
Like if I told my kids that now, they'd be sad for you. I think. Yeah, they'd be like, wow, that's heavy.
And then I just faded out on baseball. And then when I was living in LA, Adam got hooked up with tickets to Dodger Stadium, to this Dodgers game, second row behind home plate. These fucking tickets, I can cuss right now.
Oh, yeah, please.
I say after I did it. But second row behind home plate. The tickets had to be like, I don't know, 1,400, like insane tickets. And we went to that game. And it was amazing. I was like, oh, yeah, like this is so great. Like, I can't believe I faded out on baseball. And so, yeah, I was a Dodgers fan both because I was living in LA. My daughter was born in LA. I don't hate LA like a lot of people do.
Sure.
Like, it's fine. It's cool. It's a city. It has a lot going for it. And I'd listened to Ben and Adam bemoan the Rockies and the Monforts for like a decade straight. Like they have talked more shit about the Rockies
deservedly
than
so.
Anything. Yeah. And they've jumped ship. They were like, I'm a Blue Jays fan now. Like, fuck the Rockies. Now I'm a Blue Jays fan. When they traded Tulo away, they were like, fuck it, I'm just following the Blue Jays now.
Yeah, I think that's the natural progression of most Rockies fans, right? So up and down, up and down.
And then, I was a Dodgers fan, and then I liked the Rockies, and Ben and I'm like, no, you can't like two teams in the same division. I was like, yeah, you can, because I'm doing it right now. And they're like, no, you can't, because they're like competitive, like they are in direct competition all the time.
So when you're sitting out there on opening day in a series against the Dodgers, which team's cap are you wearing?
I would wear the Rockies cap, probably.
I'm wearing a Rockies hat right now. Yeah. Maybe you can't see it on the video because it's a little far away.
I was like, I like reconciled. I was like, it's more fun to root for the Rockies and root for an underdog team than a team that has just like so much money to throw around. And I still like the Dodgers just fine. There's definitely players on that team I like.
Well, isn't that kind of isn't that also kind of the Hollywood elite thing to do? Is you become an actor and then all of a sudden you're like Ashton Kutcher and you're a huge Lakers fan even though you're born in Iowa, something like that. Isn't that kind of the typical thing that people do? You were that before. You were a Dodgers fan, but most people all of a sudden they're like, well, I'm from Cincinnati, but now I love the Lakers or whatever.
I found living in LA that most people just like wearing the Dodgers hat because it's like an iconic cap. And I would go up to them and start talking baseball like hardcore, and they would have no fucking idea what I was talking about. And they'd be like, oh, to be honest, I don't even like baseball. I just like the hat. Like I heard that.
It's like a Yankees hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very iconic.
That is so LA.
It's a good looking hat. I think that's, in my experience, that's the more celebrity thing. It's just like, I just wear it because it's like a cool hat.
It's kind of like wearing a Joy Division shirt and then not really knowing
what exactly that is.
And you'd go to games at Dodger Stadium and you'd see people, they'd just be there like talking to the person. They wouldn't even be like watching the game. I went to the World Series game 2. I paid a fuck ton for these tickets. The shittiest seats in Dodger Stadium, but still, like, it's fucking game 2 of the World Series. Like, amazing. This couple sitting in front of me did not pay attention to a pitch in the game. They're just like talking and like getting hammered and like, I was like, why on earth are you even here? And I guess it's just so they could say like, we went to the
we
World
were there
Series.
To a World Series.
It was like you missed, and they missed an amazing game. It was that like crazy roller coaster game that kept going into extra innings, and like it was a great game. It was a great.
I think one of the other things that you talked about too is some of the differences between fans, and this is what we've talked about for years. Is just the you go to a Broncos game and it's crazy, and people are pissing in each other's mouths. They're doing whatever, you know. And you know that's
wait, what?
Well,
I've seen it.
I haven't been to a Broncos game.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's probably because somebody pissed in your mouth.
They kept that from you. But you know, when you go to a Rockies game, it's very sedate. It's very calm. Everyone's kind of, and I think there's theories that go along with this. Like everybody in Colorado is kind of more chill. They're just kind of like, hey, I'm just here for the good weather, you know, whatever. They're going to politely clap. But I've been, you know, sitting there and I've had like, you know, Milwaukee fans in front of me just screaming and just being really obnoxious, probably what they're used to. And everyone around them is just kind of uncomfortable, just kind of like, oh, what do I do? You know, and it's kind of like, if you don't have that same kind of attitude to yell back at them, and it's still just the environment is not for that. So I'm just wondering why that is, and maybe you've noticed that in other places you've been.
Yeah, Dodger Stadium is like, I don't know if either of you've ever been.
I have once, a long time ago.
It's an amazing stadium, and the energy is like nuts. Like there are people like talking and people like not paying attention, but there are a lot of people who are paying attention.
They're into
it. It is like loud, and they cheer and they chant.
They chant when they're here, which is really annoying.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was at this Rockies game, and there was a row of like 7 Dodgers fans like taking over Coors Field. Like
I know
they were chanting, and it was just those 7 dudes, and I was like, wow, like getting punked in your home stadium. And then there was one. Maybe I told the story on that Purple Dinocast, but there was one Rockies fan who decided he just like mustered up the courage, and he's like, I'm gonna defend my home team. So these 7 dudes would chant like, let's go Dodgers, and then you'd hear this like little voice a few rows back like, let's go Rockies. And it was just him. No one ever came to his aid, and it went on and on for like 20 minutes.
That is sad.
It was this amazing back and forth. But I found the Rockies fans, I think, are getting better, at least from my perspective. I feel like people are getting more. Yeah, they're more into it, and it doesn't have that like hushed like golf atmosphere.
Yeah, like should I say something? Or,
so much. I feel like there are. And maybe I'm just sitting in different areas. Like I found that like certain sections is like, oh, like the people here are way more fun than the people. So maybe it's like a section by section thing. But
it could be, because I don't know if you guys know this. I sit up on the club level.
I've heard.
Have you heard this? I sit up on the club level. That's where I sit.
Season tickets.
I've never mentioned it at all on this ever. And
I think Adam is also club level.
You know,
you guys can bond over.
When I found that out, I was very. We kind of locked eyes and we went, oh, and we kind of
Isn't this special?
Yeah, we really kind of bonded over.
I'll meet you at the carving station.
Yeah. So I've never seen him there though. So I went to the game. He threw out the pitch. I was at that one, and but I haven't seen him up there. But I'll look for him. But it is sedate up there. It's mellow. People don't go crazy. But what we've noticed over the years is that like there's a lot of young Rockies fans. They're probably in their their 20s, early 30s, and they've grown up with the team. Since it's been here. They were probably kids when it started, or maybe even younger than that. And I think that they now have created the fan base, and I think they're starting to get into it to where they're kind of being more vocal, and it's almost like you needed that generation to come in to kind of get it somewhere where you would get the Dodgers have been there since what, the 50s, so I mean it'll take a while, but I think it'll get there.
Yeah, I think the players seem to like it. I bet it like energizes them.
Oh yeah,
and you do get a little of that momentum. I know baseball's not as hugely a momentum sport like hockey or something, but I do think that you go to Dodger Stadium and they turn the tide on a game, and it's just crazy,
crazy.
Shaking. Yeah.
And having experienced both do you feel like Denver is a baseball town? I think this is a question that gets debated a lot, but I'll ask you point blank.
I feel like I feel similar to LA. I run into a lot of people with Rockies hats. I try to chat on about baseball. They have no idea. I remember last year I was renting a car in Denver. The Rockies run this like incredible hot streak. They were crushing it, and the guy was like, "Oh, how long are you in Denver?" We're like, "What are you gonna do?" He's making a rental car chat, and I was like, "Well, hopefully I'll get to a Rockies game." And he's like, "Oh, the tickets are probably free. They're so terrible." And I was just like, "You know jack shit about what you're talking about." So I think it's just baseball in general. There's like baseball nerds and people who really like it, and then there's people who maybe there's three tiers. There's like hardcore baseball nerds who are all about the game and the record and the stats. And then there's people who go and they like basically understand it. They are fans of the team. And then there's just people who they're just there to get drunk on the Tuaca party deck. I feel like those are the three types of people.
I think you're thinking of the Tuaca Chill Zone, which was at the Pepsi Center. It's long gone. I pour a Tuaca out every time I go to Pepsi Center, but that's neither here nor there.
It's now the Coors Banquet Hall.
Yeah,
same place. I wonder, what is the perception in Los Angeles of Denver?
Well, it's like when I lived in New York, same thing. I think people think it's in the mountains. They think it is like, they think everyone's skiing perpetually. They think everyone who met me, they're like, "Oh, you must love skiing." I'm like, "I've gone."
So like the image from a board game map.
Yeah. I think Denver's so close to the mountains that people are just like, "It's in the mountains." And I think to find out that it's like a big city, like a real city, surprises them. But everyone who's ever been loves it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I wish that I was living in Denver."
And most of them do. Or many of them do.
Yeah.
Are you there enough that the altitude affects you? I have a friends of ours were just in town. They're from LA, and they said they lived here forever, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the altitude. It's like it totally affects me, and I have to. When I get back, I feel the difference."
Yeah, it finally did.
Yeah.
It didn't for a while, but then I lived in LA for like the last 3 years, and then I started to come back to Denver less and less frequently. And then I did notice I would literally end at the airport, and it was like being in a space station that had a leak in it or something. Where I was like, "Man, this is fucked up. Like I feel like I'm just not getting enough air." And you just suck. And you sort of exercise, like going upstairs. You're just like, and yeah, it's awful. I can see why people complain. And then you go back to sea level, and you're like, "Oh, this feels so fucking good. Like I can."
It's like you've gone from Mars back to Earth. You're all of a sudden, I can breathe again, and then the pressure is different. I went to Santa Fe recently, and I was like walking up the sidewalk, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Oh, it's 2,000 feet higher," and I didn't realize it. So yeah,
I can't even do the mountains altitude. If I'm up around like 10,000 feet, I can't sleep.
Oh yeah,
it's like weird headaches and shit, and I'm like, I gotta get back down to Denver. I can't take it.
Get down. Hey, well, we blew through the first quarter. I knew we would.
No, you did.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
He was awesome.
I tried. No, that's good. When we blow through it, it means we're cooking. So I got plenty. Now, Colin, you'll notice I have a set of notes here. I never take notes, but when the guest is so special, I will take some notes just so I'm just that much more prepared. Just wanted you to know. So
I'm really proud of you.
This is the Great Rocky song. So take us out. We'll get into the second quarter right after this. Mm-hmm. So this is like 94 probably.
I don't know.
Okay, but take it out because it's awful.
Hold on. Let this fucker breathe.
I say he started playing songs like, "Oh, you got that really terrible one with the I'm gonna hit that ball and run the bases," and that's my impression of it.
That song sounds so much older than the Colorado Rockies baseball
It's
franchise. like they named it after
it sure as fuck does. Yeah.
God, that's funny.
It sounds like something from the early 80s. 1993.
93.
Yeah.
Because, they got the team, and some dude was like, "I got to make a song about the Rockies." And he was just like, compelled. Is it show what did I say? 283.
Yeah. So it goes. Okay, read.
Shit. Yeah.
It's the questions song.
You gonna be able to handle all that?
Yeah. Then the questions, and then we don't go to sports right after that, do we?
No, that's.
Oh no, we did
beginning of the third.
At the beginning of the third.
Yeah, beginning of the third.
Okay.
I know.
Ugh.
It's just so much smoother when he's here because he plays all sorts of good music. You don't have to worry about the goddamn.
Oh, I'm gonna play fucking great music, and he's gonna.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you're gonna play great music. I'm just concerned you're not gonna be able to do everything that you're supposed to be doing.
I'll focus on the shit I've got to be doing, and you guys do most of the talking.
All right. We can handle that.
I can already tell.
I'm ready to get back into it. If you guys are.
I'm going to, unfortunately, fucking have to take a leak.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. And I'm going to queue up the questions. The questions. That song is called The Questions, right?
Do not know.
Yes, it sure is. There it is.
Have you heard the Nuggets one that was created in what was that, the late 70s?
I thought you meant the one tonight. I was like, that game didn't.
No, the Nuggets song. It's
No.
It's this funky jam, and it's got like a white dude like that singing, but he's got this is kind of like
roll with the Nuggets, go
black lady, and it's awesome. It's so
fucking
good.
sweet, dude.
Yeah.
It's like seriously hardcore dope.
Nice.
Like kind of a disco vibe to it. It's fucking good.
My buddy was telling me that in the 70s, the Nuggets hired a witch or something. Did you hear about this?
A witch?
Hired a witch.
Yeah, a witch to come in and
like break the curse.
Yeah, do something in the locker room or something. Like he said, the 70s Nuggets had all this weird.
Oh, that was a hooker.
Well, we'll have to look into that. We can ask a couple guys that we know. Maybe they know something about it. So
they hired a witch.
Apparently, the 70s, with the NBA, it was just nothing but coke, and those guys were way out of it. I don't know how they were doing that, but they were living it up.
Yeah, 80s baseball. What was the documentary? Oh, it was it was about Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden. But then they were talking to those guys on those 80s Mets teams. They were the biggest shitbags.
These guys.
Yeah, I didn't even sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Just went to the game.
Well, think about these guys now that are just these, athletes that are just fine-tuned machines, and they're just I gotta get my protein, I gotta do my workout, and then have their routine for the game. And these other dudes are just not sleeping and just showing up.
Yeah, just getting hammered and stuff.
Well, what was it? What's his name? Lawrence Taylor, who played for the Giants. He was just out smoking crack the night before. And then he'd get there and just destroy people, and just was never missed a beat. You know?
It's so weird.
That's I guess what happens when you're that talented or born with it. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel in every phase the sport is entertaining. It's all right, these dudes are shitbags, are eating chili dogs and getting hammered. Still fun to watch. These guys are injecting themselves with insane steroids. Still fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
And you have the modern age where it's all sports medicine and shit. It's still fun to watch.
Oh,
yeah, it'd be more fun if they were shitbags, just because you knew them.
I think they're still shitbags.
Give us modern day Todd Helton back.
Yeah. That's why I was on vacation. You got another DUI, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Todd. Yeah. I'm like, you know what?
Todd, you have to have socked enough money away for a lift. Come on.
Yeah, it's I could, I could spring for a lift, I think, if I needed one. And I think he could too. But yeah, twice. Come on, dude. That's just, I don't know what he's doing. And he's usually going, he went, the first time, what was he going to get lottery tickets or something?
Yeah, and he had a red Solo cup
full of booze
in his truck.
Dude, come on.
He's I get it. It's Thornton. I'm sure you've seen that before, but.
Yeah, it's all normal, but Jesus. You're going to get popped, man.
Or
Yeah.
like kill a fucking family or something. I'm sure he drives like a big ass
Oh,
truck.
yeah. Oh, a huge truck. Well, that's what they always have. They always have like Lenny Dykstra on the Stern Show. And I know he was part of that because he was in the Mets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Phillies. Or no, was
He was in the Mets too, I thought. Phillies in the Mets.
I'm thinking John Kruk.
Yeah, but this was around that time when they were like really partying too. And he's on there once in a while, and they always have updates about like all the nonsense he's into. And he's a real dirtbag, but it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, that's what matters.
Are most real dirtbags.
Talking about dirtbag baseball.
Dirtbag Sandy was it San Diego? No, where's it? Where's Tulo? Where'd Tulo go? He was Dirtbag, right? That was the name of the team, the mascot.
Tulo went to Toronto.
No. Where he went to college. They're called the Dirtbags. Yeah, they're called the Dirtbags. Somebody, I think like Garrett Hampson might be a dirtbag too. I don't know why they're called Dirtbags unless there's some.
That's amazing.
Cool.
Okay, the questions.
Okay, you're gonna do that, and then you got the tunes. And remember, if you need to pause a little bit, I can always.
Because I'll need to go from reading the questions to another song.
We're such professional podcasters that we usually just do it all in one take. We don't have to change much.
She's lying.
No, that's true. Well, I mean, we stop.
Well, because Scott's here.
Yeah, true. No.
Okay.
Well, that shit always gets.
So I got to do my Sobo Liquors read.
Oh yeah, please do. We got it because we're enjoying our brews from there.
Yes.
So let me know when you're ready.
Now, the fan cast is.
Mike's.
There's one problem.
There we go.
Wow. It sounds so much better now. The Fancast is proud to welcome aboard our newest sponsor, the fabulous Sobo Liquors on South Broadway, just north of Evans on the west side, featuring a newly expanded selection of wines, craft beers, and premium liquors. Owned and operated by none other than Colorado hockey legend and Altitude Sports studio host, Mark Rycroft. Join Sobo Liquors loyalty program and earn 5, 10, 15, up to 20% off purchases by accumulating points as you enjoy their curated selection of potables. Visit Sobo Liquors at 2035 South Broadway, and please, when you do, tell them the South Stand sent you.
Nice job.
Nice.
Will the Broncos mercifully select a late-round quarterback in this year's draft so that we can all make fun of him for a year or two until he gets arrested? Is one run every 34 innings going to be enough to get the Rockies to the wild card this year? Has Bud Black considered employing the subtle strategy of having players hit baseballs? In anticipation of opening day, have Coors Field maintenance crews run drills to ensure the proper function of the party deck vomit trough? Have they removed the bodies of the fans that froze to death in their plastic seats last opening day? Will Dick Monfort roll a television into Charlie's dungeon this year so he can watch the game? For the opening series with LA, will Coors Field sell Dodger dogs so we can shove them up the front-rubbing douchebag asses of their fans? Is the MLB at Bat radio package a sound investment, if only to avoid accidentally having to hear Rush Limbaugh on KOA?
Yes.
To prepare for her new role with 104.3 The Fan, will Nikki Jabavala spend a week embedded at an actual sausage factory? Did South Broadway Liquors have any idea what they were getting themselves into when they decided to sponsor this fucking podcast? You have questions. We have answers. SouthStandsDenver.com, Colorado's finest internet sports talk since 1971. All right, that's when I need to grab another song.
I'm just gonna let it roll. I'll.
Okay, this is not sports now.
No.
We're gonna go with.
Hopefully another great.
That one. We're gonna go with.
Another great local sports Denver song.
Yeah, man, that Nugget song, man.
Oh yeah, are you gonna get the Nuggets?
Roll with the Nugget. Well, let's see if it's
Oh,
on
fine,
here.
I can bounce it.
Fucking A, we're gonna go with Roll with the Nuggets. One of Scott's.
What's the name of the little pioneer dude from the?
That is the minor Maxie.
Maxie. I couldn't think of it.
And was he ever the mascot for the team? Like, was
Yeah.
I know it's been
No,
Rocky ever since
he wasn't the mascot. He was the logo.
I don't know if they never had like a person. No, nothing like that.
Yeah, I only remember Rocky. Rocky's a good mascot, I gotta say. He's one
really
of the better mascots. He's got a good attitude.
Oh yeah. You know the thing when he got lowered down and it like choked the guy out. You remember that?
No. Oh my God.
This is so awesome. I mean, not for him. It probably sucked for him. It was probably scary as hell. They had him in a harness and they lowered him down. And however the harness was on, it choked him out. And like, so basically he just lowered to the floor and just kind of slumped down because they couldn't really tell. I think maybe they thought something was wrong because he wasn't really moving around. And then he was out cold when they got him to the floor. Yeah.
I've been in one of those and it is fucking tight.
In the harness. Yeah. Well, that reminds me, I want to talk a little bit later about some of that because I had some, I was thinking of questions and like some, things about filming and whether like, any sort of like dangerous situations. I know our mutual fan, who's a fan of all of us, Guy Incognito.
Oh yes.
He loves all of us.
Oh yes.
He had some questions, so we're gonna get to this a little bit later. So
okay, I did not find Roll with the Nuggets.
All right,
so
we'll keep
I'm
looking
going
for it. Just do
sorry.
something else. We'll figure it out.
Yes, I'm doing something else on. This is 3. 1,
Go, we're
2.
going. Oh, way to bring it down. Take it down a notch.
Little boy,
The fuck is that?
baseball hat, stands in the field, his ball and bat, says I am the greatest player of them all, puts the bat on his shoulder, tosses up his ball.
What is this cornball?
It's Kenny Rogers from 1997.
Man, those beers are.
That's what carpet tiles are for. That's why Con invented them.
The shook up crate.
I think Colin ran back from.
No,
there.
I rode back from. It just dawned on me. I rode back from them on the back of a scooter.
Oh yeah, they were just like.
Yeah, so I asked for that.
I was trying to figure. I was like, I know that voice, but I don't know this song. That's
It's the greatest by Kenny.
1997, huh?
No last name needed.
Yeah. We all know Kenny. of
Yeah.
course. So, wow, that's really good. I'm glad you're finding these gems for our baseball themed podcast.
Can't play center field at every break.
That's right, but you will eventually. But yes, find the Nuggets so we can play it for Andrew. I know he wants to hear it. It's a good one. Maybe we can take it out with that. So, excuse me. Before I want to talk a little bit of opening day. I did want to say Ben is really missing out, and you know why? Because I was going to bring him a gift tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a gift for him, and now you know what? He's shit out of luck. What that gift was, because I will not wear it anymore. I have no reason to wear it, and I don't know if he'd wear it. I was going to find out if he wanted to wear
Underwear?
it. I know he needs some underwear. Yes. No, it is a beautiful, like sewn on numbers and letters Patrick Waugh jersey, but it says Waugh on the back, which looks like his name. And I figured that if he wanted to wear it in one of his many performances, he could, it's kind of heavy, he'd probably sweat a lot in it, but it has his name on the back, and I'm not going to wear it. And I thought I'd give it to him. But you know what?
Pretty
No.
nice gift.
Yeah, not anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's not. It's going to stay in my closet collecting dust like it has been since probably the late 90s.
Yeah, suck on that, Benoit.
Suck on that.
Benoit. It took balls to come up with that joke.
Yeah, I bet he's heard that. I bet he's
Probably,
heard that a few times.
Probably once or
Well,
twice.
that was my thing. And then I was thinking about your name. You've got Dahl in your name. So do you ever thought about maybe getting a David Dahl shirt or jersey and then maybe adding some letters to it? Yeah, it would work, huh? Yeah. So I don't know. Just some thoughts about jerseys. I'm always into that. Like no one ever has my name with a jersey. Like no one ever. The closest that came to my name was when Kenneth Fareed was here. And and I thought, I'll add a Y to it. So it's Kenneth Fareedy, but it was never spelled the same way. It doesn't work. No one has my damn name. So I know. What am I going to do? But at least you've got a part of your name in a Rockies playlist. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So I like that. I wanted to talk opening day, and it's kind of a good time. Lower downtown's going to be packed full. It seems to me, and you've been here. You've obviously moved around, but you grew up here, correct? opening day was always great, and I remember going, but like now it's like, and this kind of comes back to what I was saying about the younger crowd. It really seems like a freaking holiday now. Like it's like a big deal, and it didn't seem like it before.
Talking to people the other day, and they were like, "Oh, we're not working. It's opening day, and nobody's working." They were just like, "Yeah, nobody's working. It's opening day." And so I started to chat baseball with the dude. He knew jack shit about baseball. He wasn't like actually interested in Rockies baseball.
What's the lineup going to be on opening day? He doesn't know about that.
Party. Just like party type shit.
I play hockey with a guy, and I said, "Hey," and I knew he goes to the games, and I said, "Hey, am I going to see you on Friday?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm going. I'm just going to go hit the bars." And he's not even going to the game. He's just going to go hit the bars, which sounds really obnoxious to me. I mean, at least
I just like shitty traffic.
I just like bumping into people in shitty bars and stuff all day. So no, it's cool. It's great, Colin. I know you. Wait, are you playing it? No, don't play it now. Let's wait.
A tease.
Let's wait. When we take our next break, you're gonna have to dial up a couple things. So I want you to focus back on the show. Can you focus back on the show for a little bit?
Working on it.
Yeah. So Colin, now thanks for coming back. We're talking opening day.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, are you? Okay.
I'm excited. I got my tickets on the secondary market for the unbelievably low price of just $100 a piece, which I think is the least I've paid in years. I'm really excited. Between my son is graduating high school this year. Between the time he was in kindergarten to now, we are yet to miss a single opening day, but for one. When I was in rehab.
Oh
yeah. So that was a bummer. But my business partner took it.
So he's been. You haven't.
He's been every year since kindergarten. Yes.
Gotcha. And you mentioned the weather. Last year, the weather was fucking awful.
It was fucking horrible. But we got to meet up with Mark Mosier, which was fun.
Voice of the Avalanche.
That was a good time. But yeah, it was awful. It was like a stinging, biting, rainy, icy mess, and your clothes were wet, and the wind was howling, and you're thinking the whole time. I'm thinking, there's no way they're gonna play this game. They've got to call it, right? I mean, we're miserable. The players are miserable. It was awful. Everybody was packed into the concourses.
I don't think
this year it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's 67, so it's going to be nice. Yeah. It's going to be nice on Friday. So.
I've seen as high as 70, depending on which app you look at.
When you go, and I know you're only going to go when the Dodgers are in town, but when you go,
I should get a custom-made cap like half Rocky.
Oh yeah,
no one will enjoy.
Oh man,
everyone will be really confused.
They'll be like, "What the fuck, dude?"
We'd be really popular on Rocky's Twitter. With
yes.
That
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So, it's when you do go, what do you like about it? It's a nice stadium. Obviously, it's different than some of the old school ones. Actually, it's one of the older ones it's one of the oldest in the NL, right? Isn't it just behind Dodger Stadium? I think.
I believe so.
I think it's so age-wise. So, and that was built in what, the 60s? It wasn't Chavez. So
67.
You think it's like new, but it's not. But what do you like doing when you go there? I mean, obviously watching the game, but is there food? Is there anything else you enjoy?
I'm not trying to talk shit. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite stadium for like food and drink. Yeah. I don't know if you have ever been to Petco Park in San Diego.
Oh, I'm sure it's fabulous.
Amazing beer. They've got Hodad's cheeseburgers, which is one of the best cheeseburgers you're gonna get anywhere. Just real good food. Real good booze. I mean, it's inferior.
Dude, I would go so far as to say,
but
yeah,
I would rather be at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick for food. They have got the Sonoran dog is amazing.
Yeah, that is.
Well, I haven't been to a game at Petco, but I walked around there like last year sometime. It was in the wintertime, so they weren't playing. And there is like, what is it, Stone, or one of those breweries was right there, like right outside where you come out for the outfield. So I can see that. I understand that. And, I've been to, what is it? It used to be called Comiskey's, where the White Sox play. I don't know what it's called now. It's called like AT&T, IKEA Field or something. And it's, they had really good food too, but that's Chicago. So it was a little bit different. It was all sausage based,
sausage based.
They do have a biker gyms in Coors Field.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah. So
there's good stuff in there. I'm not trying to
biker gyms.
I just
laughed out of
about
town.
Stadium food. I always think of Petco Park. I'm like, oh man, that was amazing. You know what I like best about Coors Field is, especially after seeing so much baseball at Dodger Stadium, which has like seemingly 2 roads that lead up to it, that are like a nightmare. Like it's so easy to get to Coors Field. You can hop on light rail
anywhere.
I ride my bike from my house.
Yeah.
Down there, you can you can get there in so many different ways. It just feels great to just like walk up to the stadium and just like walk in and see a baseball game. It's just like that sort of being so accessible is super cool.
One thing I'm excited about is I understand they have been installing fountains around the perimeter of Coors Field. You might recall last year I made the case that after Jenny Kavnar in her famous fire up the fountains call on the radio, or on TV rather, that it would be awesome if they would fire the fountains every time the Rockies scored a home run, home or away.
Oh, even away.
And so, yeah, so I wrote an article.
Sucks if you're standing there.
Yeah,
Published
where are
on
those fountains?
Yeah. They're right there along Blake Street.
It'd be horrible if you were squatting over one, didn't know they were playing that day.
If you're just like sitting on one, like just
Or
checking
I'm just hanging out.
Or based on that neighborhood, sleeping on
Yeah.
one. But yeah, it looks like they're building fountains around the perimeter of the park, and if they fire those when a home run happens away from Coors Field, I feel like I'm owed at least season tickets.
I bet you should wait by your mailbox for that. I bet it's going to show up. Yeah,
I hadn't heard about that.
No, I didn't know that either, but it's really cool.
Yeah, there are a bunch of new fountains going in. So hopefully they're going to go with my plan, and then I can email somebody at promotions and say, hey, come on, little love for daddy.
That's mine.
You know what? I think it's we're sitting here, Todd. We told you earlier we do 10% sports. We're probably up to about 15 at this point. But it's just one of those things where you said earlier about, is this a baseball town? There are cities where it's like, yes, this is all about baseball.
Midwestern cities, especially, and LA aside.
And I think now, and that we're getting excited about it. It's kind of nice to have that interest, and it'd be like, hey, we're from Denver, we're into the Rockies, and we now have a tradition. They've been around long enough that that's kind of a tradition. It's not like it's not like the Red Sox or anything like that, or the Cubs or whatnot, but it still is a tradition. It's building, and that's why I think it's nice to kind of get behind a little bit.
Absolutely. And one thing I think about all the time is you hear a lot of scandal and controversy surrounding the building of stadiums with public funds, but I can't imagine one that has paid its dues, paid back the taxpayers more times over than Coors Field has. Because, an entire district was built around that stadium. Wynkoop Brewery was about the only thing that was down there before Coors Field was built. And after Coors Field was built, we see what we now know as lower downtown Denver. And it's packed on every weekend night. And so
before Coors Field, sorry to interrupt you, did you go down there much before Coors Field? Do you remember going down there?
Did you ever spray paint your girlfriend's name in the flour mill loft?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been to the flour mill lot for sure. I used to go to Muddy's and throw some flags.
Sure.
Coffee houses.
Do you remember the viaduct?
What's the the
15th Street Viaduct?
Where the Wazee Supper Club was.
Yeah, Rock Island.
Yeah.
Well, you know
Rock
what?
Island a few times.
We got. We're going to get into that too. We can't jump right into it because we got to take a break and get into the second half already. We're already there, Colin. I know.
Man, time flies.
I know, but we got to make sure so we don't get too far into it, then have to stop. But we got plenty to cover here. So that's one thing I do want to talk about. I want to talk about maybe what your thoughts on old Denver versus new Denver. New. NU with an umlaut. That's New Denver. That's how we say it these days. So let's get into the second half right after this. Oh, is it? Now that's a classic, though. That's a classic song. That's a classic cheesy baseball song. Mm-hmm. You're out of there. Okay. We're cruising, man.
Okay, now I'm going to do Sportique scooters, then sports. That's where we're at, right?
Yes. And then you're going to get into sports.
So we play this goofy song from the Tim and Eric Awesome Hour called Sports.
You know Tim and Eric, obviously.
Yeah.
The sports theme. We've played it for years.
There it is.
Are you ready to get back into it? Do you want to get back into it?
Sure, why not?
Okay, no one has to take a whiz?
Not this
Or
time.
my podcasting diaper.
They sell those.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Special niche.
that is-
Depends.
So this is obviously not going to be the edited version of sports.
Oh, it's the longer one.
I don't have the edited version of it.
Well, I can drop it in later. I have it. I have it at home. I just put it in. That one's been now. The one at home's better.
Okay. It's a little less fun because we don't get to shout sports.
You can shout sports. You just got to imagine that the song's been playing. Did you hear it? It's like that. It sounds like an '80s sports thing.
What's that?
Did you hear it?
Do I hear it right
Yeah,
now?
you
I
hear
can
it.
hear
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I
don't know.
And they go, and then they start going sports.
Yeah, so we just shout. Dun, 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 dun.
I would rather drop it in
Okay, that's
because
fine.
it's shorter and it
That's
is
fine. Keeps us moving.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You drop it in.
That's like
perfect.
a minute longer, I think, with all the funky shit on it.
Okay, so I don't need any song for this period. So I'm just gonna do read and then you bring us back in because you're gonna drop sports in it. Or no, we shout sports.
No, you're gonna do a read first.
Yeah.
And then we'll just pause and then go sports. And then that's where I put it. I put it
Okay.
after the read.
All right.
Jesus Christ. You think we'd figure this
Ready.
out by now?
Ready to go.
I have to get mics on.
Oh yeah, I took the mic
There's
up.
that.
There you go. See? Again,
There's
pro.
that. Yeah.
It's good to have a pro.
I'm now the producer.
It's good to have a pro in the room. Can you come
Probably-
back next week?
Probably turn the mics on. Okay. Here's where I spray myself down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're settling down a little bit. Not much.
No.
Oh, I love you, carpet tiles. Used carpet tiles, I might add, from an office building.
This is so much better because when we were at the old place, that had like rat feces.
Oh, there was rat
Yeah,
shit.
there was rats
Oh, yeah.
all over. So this
No, it wasn't rats. It was mice.
It
to
was
be
mice,
fair.
yeah,
to
so-
be fair.
It's a big. We have pet rats. My daughter does. There's a big
Oh,
difference
gross.
Between mice and rat shit.
Yes,
They're
yes.
huge. They
Yes.
take the biggest shit.
yeah, like
like little dog shits.
Like rat shit's more like the size of a hot tamale, right? And like mouse shit's like the grain.
It's like grain.
Yeah,
It's like a grain.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was definitely
It
mice.
might be terribly healthy.
We,
Who knows?
we might.
Who
no one
knows?
got, no one
Make
got
a
sick.
smoothie.
No one got sick in
No.
there. So cool.
Okay.
Ready? So read, take a pause, and then then we'll do sports. You ready?
Get into the game.
Wait,
with-
I didn't start. Yes.
Fuck you, Scott. Get into the game with Sportique. It's where scooters come from, right in the shadow of downtown Denver at 160 South Broadway. And there's no easier way to get into Lodo for opening day and get the fuck out of Lodo when opening day is over, because a scooter can park at a bike rack for free and you can use the bike lanes. That's right. It drives the bicycle dudes crazy, but fuck them. It's the law. So get to Sportique, where scooters come from since 1998. And when you get there, be sure to tell them the South Stand sent you. Sports! Sports, sports! Yay! I really enjoyed listening to that.
It was very good. Yeah, it was excellent.
That was really fun.
So good.
Really fun.
Let's talk about your TV show. Real quick.
Andy Fairbell is here.
Yes, right.
everybody.
I'm a huge fan. I've watched. Well, I'd say I watch every episode, but I DVR and I haven't watched the last two, so I'm not totally current. But
I really loved the ska thing. Set in the scooter shop. That touched home.
Yeah, that was excellent. And I thought of you when I saw that one.
Many people did.
Yeah.
I don't know how many text messages I got. I don't know how many direct messages I got. It's kind of like a few years ago, there was a little one-panel cartoon that just said Vesperados, and it showed some like outlaws on Vespas riding through the desert. And I don't know how many family members felt like they had to send me that cartoon, like nobody else had. And my mom's like, "Look at this clip I found on Facebook. Isn't it funny?" I'm like, "Mom, that's like the 80th time somebody sent me that."
Well, these guys, when they had one of the shows, I think it was the second season, maybe it was the first, when you had it at Mutiny and you filmed the outside of Mutiny up the street. Our good buddy Matt and Jim owned that, and so that was very thrilling to see that in the show.
Lions Lair in season 1.
Lions Lair's been in it. Yeah, Lions Lair's been in it. And it was funny because you see the Lions Lair and then you look inside and
it's not the Lions Lair. That's not the lair.
They've just filmed in there once, but you know what?
There's no rat shit anywhere.
There's where you guys film. There's a little more room for the Lions. The Lions are a little more cramped, I think. So it's probably best for I'm assuming filming. So, but no, it's great. It's really good, and it's just great to see all the Denver connections and things like that. I know everyone wants to know, and I'm sure you don't know yet, but are you going to do a 4th season?
I really don't know. Yet.
No, but what are the odds? What do you think?
I mean, it's such a crazy dice roll. Like, sometimes it seems like, yeah, it's like looking good.
Yeah,
They haven't, because I mean, if they were going to cancel us, they could have done it.
Sure.
Like at any point.
Like AAF style, like American style.
So that's right. They canceled the football league.
Cut it short.
Is that a typical thing? Like you're not going to know unless something.
Unless
happens.
you're Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, unless you're Jerry Seinfeld, really.
Yeah, there's no. It's hard to say because sometimes you get indicators like, well, I don't think they're going to renew it. They just they seem not really into it, and then they renew it, and then you hear people that were like, their show seems to be crushing it, and they even get told like, yeah, we're going to give you guys another season, and then they cancel it even after.
Yeah.
So I'd like try to never assume anything or get excited like, oh yeah, it's like in the bag or anything.
How much can your fans influence that, do you think? Via social media?
Quite a bit. They really do look at it.
I think they have already, right?
And they can everything is so trackable these days. So now they're like, you guys had the #2 fan engagement on social media for all primetime comedies on a Monday. Like they can like.
But that's a whole lot better than ratings. Ratings are so fucking stupid because whoever these people are that are willing to be monitored, I don't know who they are. It's not you, it's not me, it's not anybody I know. So the traditional broadcast ratings are stupid. Engagements are way more important. So if you're listening and you're a fan of this show and you're a fan of those who can't, for fuck's sake, take some time to make sure they know.
So make all the noise you can.
That's right.
They really do track that. And like you just said, ratings in the new era of watching TV, now no one wants to be bound by a live. You just said yourself, I DVR it, I watch it later. Yeah, I want to watch it on my schedule, and I don't want to be like, oh fuck, it's 8 p.m. my show's on, and like hurry over and like
I'm gonna miss Dynasty, and I won't be able to see it for another 6 months.
Yeah, so I think when the new way that people watch TV makes ratings obsolete, but
same thing's true with radio, and they don't get it. They just don't get it. I mean, the people who are still doing radio, all that matters, as far as they're concerned, is the information they deliver to advertisers, and the only information they deliver to advertisers is what Arbitron says, and it's completely meaningless because people are streaming things, people are recording things, they're listening to podcasts, they're doing shit later. They're not doing it right now necessarily, unless it's live sports, and that's the kind of the exception to the rule.
Fan buzz is great because they're like, oh, that's like real.
So what are some
real
hashtags
like,
we can use on Twitter? I mean, how do we get this message across?
Just those who can, just tweeting at True TV, because whoever monitors that True TV account is probably on buddy Richie. Hey Richie, if you're in New York. But yeah, just tweeting at True TV, like, hey, I love the show. Like, I hope you bring it back. Like that sort of buzz does get noticed, which is so. I think that's a funny way to.
It's
but when you think about it from a TV exec's point of view, where it's all about like ads and ad sales and everything, like having human beings clamoring that they like the show is something that can't be bought, and it like.
Not only is it something that can't be bought, it's something that 10 years ago they paid research firms huge money to go find out, like stand in the mall and ask you questions and fill in with a #2 pencil, dots and shit. I used to do that. I used to stand in the Citadel Mall in Colorado Springs, and I would ask questions about movies and TV shows and bug people constantly. So I know how that information came around before the internet, and the internet's way easier. It's way easier.
When you guys get together to like sit down for a season, you would say like, okay, I'm going to get X amount of episodes. So-and-so is going to get this many. Do you break it up? You have other people outside your group writing them too. How do you work that out?
Yeah, we just have a writer's room. So we have a staff, and it's changed like season to season, but Like this last season, we had Andrew Weinberg as our showrunner. He did that show Eagle Heart on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
For that, it's really funny. So he was our showrunner, and then we had a writer, Lisa Best, who we brought in, really funny stand-up. And this guy, Chris Mars, who we'd worked with before, who's hilarious. And then we had a writer's assistant, this woman named Jeanette Timms. So basically, we all got 2 episodes credit. We wrote them all together.
Everybody writes a lot of stuff.
And then we gave the writer's assistant a script, which is a cool thing to do, and I think all shows should do that. But writer's assistant is trying to make it as a writer in the industry. So if you could throw them script credit, it's like a huge for them. So yeah, it just breaks that down fairly, pretty much like 2-2-2, whatever. But they're all written pretty much as The Room, and then you're kind of just like putting your name on the finished thing.
That process sounds so goddamn fun to me. Being in a room with really creative people, just seeing what sticks to the wall.
I've laughed so much that it like fucked me up. Like
hurt your
sort of rib.
Oh, like I feel like I fell down the stairs.
Pulled some rib cartilage.
We would be laughing so much. But on the flip side, there are days where it's like the worst thing, where you're just like,
so you're blocked and nothing's happening,
and it's just like the tempers are grating, and it's like nothing is really making sense, and so it's both things. But yeah, I mean, when it's funny, it's just the best, like just dying.
When this is one of the things that our mutual fan guy Incognito said. He said that you almost died in an episode, and he had to remind me, because I was like, I don't remember that one. He said it was from season 1. Did you almost die? Is this?
Well, I don't know if I almost died.
Is this exaggerated?
I did a bunch of like stunt stuff, but the worst thing that I did, I was in these vents, and then they're supposed to be fumigated, so the smoke comes in. So I was in like a fake vent that's like, I don't know, as long as this room or something. And I was in the back of it, and they were like, okay, well, we'll like fill it full of smoke. And I was wearing like a respirator as part of my costume, but it wasn't like a genuine, it wasn't like made to work. And with my dumb character's mustache, it like wasn't even seated right.
Yeah, you can't have facial hair with a respirator.
So I'm in the back of the thing, and they're like, okay, action. And then it just like fills up with smoke, and I'm like crawling down the vent, and I was like, oh, I'm not getting any air at all. I'm just breathing in this like smoke. And I was like freaking, I was like trying to, I couldn't see anything. I'm just kind of like clambering around, and I was like, I definitely got this like panicky feeling where I was like, oh, if I can't find the fucking end of this stupid vent, like I'm just kind of like banging along the wall. Vent. Yeah, and then I did. I found the end, and I plopped out, and I was like, "Holy shit, that sucked." That was the worst stunt I ever did. But another one, I got dropped, fake dropped from the ceiling, in like which was like totally safe, but it felt very scary to be suspended all the way up to the ceiling on like a cable with just like a vest, like we were talking about Rocky.
With Rocky,
Nuggets mascot being crushed unconscious. It really does squeeze you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all of your weight is like pulling down on the harness. I didn't actually take the whole fall. That stunt. They like dropped me to start it, and then the stunt dude took the actual fall. Those guys are insane. The stunt people. The shit. I don't know if you. In this season, when the guy gets hit by the car, that's just a dude being hit by a car.
He actually got hit by the car.
Like, it's not a mannequin or anything. He just gets hit by the car, and he got up, and his like face is all red. Like, he looks like he just got hit by a car. He just knows how to be hit by a car.
How do you really know? I mean, I guess
craziest skill set. Yeah, you just know to get up. You got to clear that bumper. You don't want to go down under it. So you get up, and then you just start rolling. It wasn't like it was. Everything about it was a real car. It was all real.
That's awesome. What like for you? You've done stand up. We're gonna get to our next break though. But no, I'm gonna talk about this first, Colin. Don't try to get me out of this, Colin. I know you're busy trying to get me out. You've done this Tonight Show. You've done stand up everywhere. What's your dream? Like performance that you want to do, like where would you go aside from here right now that you'd be like,
obviously,
hell yeah, this is fucking nice. Like doing stand up or whatever, or just being interviewed, or
it would probably being on Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I remember when Conan first came out, I think I was in high school, and I watched it, and I wasn't even interested in doing comedy, but I was like, man, I love this show. This dude's so funny. And I would watch it, and I'd be like, it'd be so cool to be on that show, just like in any capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And now, my career, I'm in a position where you think like, oh, well, I've never been closer to being Conan, but apparently I've never been farther away because I keep sending them tapes and not getting on.
Well, how does that work? Like, you have to know somebody there and have them go, oh, I know this guy. He's really funny. Let's have him on. Or is it?
They have a booker. It's a guy that they just hire to curate the stand-up comedy, and then.
Do you think because you're on the Tonight Show, they're like, fuck this guy?
No, I have no idea, no rhyme or reason. I mean, it could just be the tape I send. He just doesn't like any of those jokes, so you just keep trying until they say like, don't send us any more tapes. We never want you. Then you gotta just keep trying because you don't know what he's looking for. Or like I have friends, like plenty of peers that have done it. I know a shitload of people that have done it. So.
But I mean, the show, Patton Oswalt's on it. There's tons of famous people that have guest stars. I would think that would make the rounds to where people would know what it is, type of thing, and be familiar with it. I guess. Maybe I'm just being naive.
Hasn't our buddy's sister been on?
Oh, who? What?
Tig Notaro.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, she's been on everything.
I think she's been on.
Oh yeah, she's been on everything. Yeah, Reno. You know Reno Notaro?
Oh yeah.
He was our first celebrity guest.
It's snowing in Maine today, by the way.
Fuck you, Reno.
Congratulations, asshole. Enjoy your lobster, you motherfucking cold ass motherfucker.
He was the first media guy, and we were sad to have him move because he was a good buddy. He was the first.
I'm so mad at him. I'm still just furious.
And he gave us the time of day, and he loved being in there because he could shoot his filthy mouth off, and so and he's been on here tons of times, and we'll really miss him. So, but yeah, let's get into the fourth quarter. We got a bunch of stuff to cover before we get out. I know you might have a few things you need to cover too.
Probably.
Okay, cool. Let's do that, and we will be right back. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking bad.
So nice. Out of bounds.
Did he say out of bounds? I don't think that's a thing, really.
I like the idea of it.
Well, yes, I like the idea that the minorities enjoy the Rockies also.
Well, no, I don't get baseball and hip hop together. You know what I mean?
It doesn't really
mix for me. I don't know.
We'll have to ask Ramiel Tapia.
But I mean, more like Latin music and stuff like that. That seems more the vibe for like baseball to me. But
well, and Denver in general, you got baseball, yes, not really very hip hop friendly. Denver, also not perceivable. I mean, I could see there being a really cool Dodgers rap song.
I've never heard there that they play.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Same tunes.
I figured
they have an organist though who's pretty great at Dodger Stadium, and he plays whatever the fuck he wants. It'll be like he'll just start like riffing some like cartoon theme or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't really. I mean, it's cool. It works, but Nuggets, Broncos, that type of thing. So, and of course the Avalanche, hip hop and hockey go together hand in hand.
Hip hop.
Ron Doyle.
Oh yeah,
you worked with Ron.
We just hung out today.
Yeah. We know Ron because when he did the Denver Diet Trial, we had a friendly rivalry with them.
Oh, nice.
And he came on here a couple times, once or twice, didn't he? You remember?
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah. So I've known him for a little while. So and I saw that you guys worked together.
I've known him for a while. He produces a lot of podcasts and he hosts a storytelling show that I created.
That's right. Yeah.
Then I kind of handed over to him.
I think he lives over by me too. I'm pretty sure.
Monaco and Winsdale.
Yeah. That's about where I live. So I haven't seen him.
Speaking of old Denver, that's like that doesn't feel very changed.
That area?
Yeah.
No, it's
not by. That's where I grew up.
Oh, did you?
Evans and Holly. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
When I was a little kid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
So I know that area pretty well.
You didn't go to Skyline, did you?
No.
Oh.
I went to St. John's.
No, that's the pool. That's the pool over there.
Oh.
Is that Holly?
No, I went
I'm thinking Florida.
we went to Hampton Heights pool down on Hampton.
Oh yeah, sure. Over
What
there.
part of town did you grow up in?
Like Evans and Holly.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, guys are right over there.
right over by
me.
you guys.
Yeah.
Little bit east of me. I grew up in the Springs, but I live in about Evans and Downey.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to live there too. I lived like everywhere. I lived all over. Except I live in Lakewood now, and I've never lived in Lakewood before.
Oh,
So it's all new to me.
That's cool. Sounds like you probably hit all the areas. I've hit pretty much everything in this side of town. I haven't lived out there, but
I never lived in like downtown proper, but I never wanted to either.
No, especially way back when it was like, why would you live down there? There's just nothing. There's nothing there.
No.
Yeah, everyone's done their time on Capitol Hill, I'm sure. So, Capitol Hill.
6th and Penn. That's as close as I got to Capitol. It's like basically just south of it.
One of the first places I lived, like when I was like out of college and whatnot, and I was like on like I want to say it was like 11th or 10th in Penn, and I think it was like $125 a month, and it was a 1-bedroom. I think the whole place was probably it was bigger than the orange painted. I mean, it was more. There was a bedroom too. It was massive, and I remember like going, oh, $125, man, it's a lot of money. I'm like, it's a lot. This is probably what 93, and
That's so crazy.
And then I think there was a place up the street that I was looking at for something, and they were like the units they were selling in there, and it was like $500,000 or whatever it was, and I was just like, oh my god! I was like, I was afraid to walk around that neighborhood when I lived there, and I was like, this is like high end shit, so it's crazy.
Yeah, that's so weird. People who have like luxury apartments in like shit neighborhoods.
Oh yeah.
It's like what's your quality? It's like nice to be able to walk around your neighborhood.
Well, and then they complain because then they're like, stinky homeless person's taking a poop outside, and it's like he's been doing that for 20 years.
Did you not research the area?
Yeah, it's like what? Yeah, did you not know that's what you were going to run into? That's what I think is fucking.
Downtown is so fucked now. Like they're like, that little triangle spot. It's right by Carson. It's right where all the missions are. There's that little triangle space, and it looked like a refugee camp.
Now it's a garden,
and now they fenced it off with like a combination lock gate that no one has the combination to. And so, but all the people are still all around. And now you just have this bizarre little like park for no one.
Yeah,
I've
like, never seen it.
Whoever fucking came up with that plan is one of the dumbest fucking people I've ever.
Well, because it was like, hey, I'm going to put this in here, and we're going to take this nasty area and make it beautiful with a garden. And everyone's like, that's a great idea. And they're like, what they didn't say is they were going to wall it off so no one can enjoy it. Or
and then there's like a combo lock. It's not like the home to Denver get that combination to go hang out in there. And all the homeless people are just, it's like, none of them are like,
up.
You know what? This has really made me reevaluate my situation. I guess I'm going to get on a bus and leave Denver and go get a job. It's like, that's not helping the problem. Like, yeah, it was an eyesore. That's what the homeless epidemic in Denver is. It's an eyesore.
I'm shocked that anything grows there, because I remember when I first moved here and I drove through there, and it was a hill, and there was just people passed out on it. And I remember I was like with my dad, I was like, what is that? And he called it, and I don't know who told him this or he made it up himself, but he called it Seal Island.
Oh my god!
Because people were like just laying there like seals on the rocks, and I was like, oh okay. And it was Seal Island forever, and until they chopped it all down and turned it into a garden. So, you know what we're talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yes. I was like, wow, that's deep, Dad. You really nailed it.
All right, I got a read and then I got a song. Fourth quarter.
Doing it. I had a Rockies question for y'all.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Ooh, that's great.
Hit it. All right.
I'm ready. Are you ready? Now, are the mics up? Are the mics hot?
Mics are up. Mics are hot. It only took 3 quarters for me to realize I shouldn't mute the mics when we're coming back.
Well,
So
it's at this point, it's like it's fine.
I'm the backup producer.
That's right, you are.
I'm like the Chad Kelly of producers.
Are you ready, Chad?
Yeah, ready.
Okay.
Whole squad ready. The Leech Pit Denver is the vintage clothing and record store you've been looking for. Right next to Sportique Scooters at 162 South Broadway. A unique selection of fare you will find nowhere else. If you're looking for that cool thing for yourself or that wonderfully unique gift for someone you love, you need to stop by and check out the Leech Pit. And when you do, it would be really awesome if you told them the South Stands like totally sent you. Awesome.
What'd you do?
Got Wi-Fi problems.
That's okay. We got the riff.
Down. Yeah. Oh, there you go. It sounds like Joe Walsh is in a massive stadium, and he's like in Dodger Stadium, and I can't, I'm way up top. What are some concerts from your youth that you recall that that would be at like McNichols or anything?
Dude, I grew up in like the strictest Christian household.
Did you really?
So none. I had 0 cool concerts. I would go to like Christian concerts with my friends.
Wow.
And listen to like the world's shittiest music.
See what happens, folks, when you force Christian strict Christian upbringing on someone. Look what happens to you. Where did you grow up?
In Denver, Central Denver.
Okay.
Like Colleen Evans area.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
In middle school, we moved down to the Littleton area.
Gotcha.
And I went to Heritage High School.
That's too bad you didn't get to experience the the satanic vibes of
concerts. Yeah,
wow.
Nothing. I mean, I was just remembering this today. My mom, I was like interested in the Cure. I guess it like just come out as a band or something because I remember Cure shirts and stuff. My mom would not listen to Cure because she said they made people kill themselves.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was like evil music. And then, like later in life, I listened to Cure. I was like, "What the fuck?
What the hell is she
what
talking
are
about?"
you talking
Every
about?
time I hear pictures of you, I cut myself.
It's just like just pop music. Grateful Dead, shit that was evil. Like all these bands that were like so.
My parents told me black people were evil.
That's a whole different
Colorado
upbringing.
Springs.
Yeah. That's the Colorado Springs upbringing. This is the Littleton one. So.
Right.
When did you kind of get away from that? What age were you finally like, you know what? I think I'm going to explore something else.
Like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Like when I started to be an age where I could be like, I don't want to go to church anymore. I'm not gonna do that.
What was your high school graduating year?
95.
Man, I'm old.
Yeah.
And I,
You're even older than me.
I'm not old at all. Yeah.
I
Forever young.
moved out right away from my house, and then I immediately was like not into religion.
Was that like the kid who was denied junk food all his life and then got on his own and dove right into it, or were you a little like kind of ease into the the non-Christian life?
It was pretty fast. I think I was like
you were biting heads off bats.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't. Just did not like it. But like the version that I grew up with was so extreme and like off-putting and terrible that like I talked to other people who were like, "Oh yeah, well no, I grew up Christian. It was cool. Like just went to church, like had barbecues and everything." I was like, "Oh, you weren't like raised to believe that the Antichrist was going to drag you out of your house and like behead you, like for being Christian, like the most hardcore shit." My mom was like the Sarah Connor of Christianity. Like she was like so. And we would go to those churches where they would like be screaming and people fainting and like
wow, like
that,
fundamentalist
yeah,
stuff.
like the really crazy shit. So like it was not hard to leave that. It wasn't like I was like, oh no, I can be fine, like leaving that fine. And so I have like a pretty negative view of religion, and people are like, you know, like what's so bad about that? You know, if they're not hurting anybody, it's like, well, there are like versions of it where they are like, hurting people, and they.
Okay, I don't want to get too deep into this because it's a podcast in and of itself, but I also, I share that perspective on religion with you. But what do you feel about a God?
Wow. Oh, so you don't want to continue with that, but you want to add.
Well, no, you grew up in a church, you had that spiritual connection.
Did you completely abandon it, or do you still have some of that? Like,
no, yeah, I pretty much abandoned, and I was like very comfortable saying like, oh yeah, I'm an atheist, and people are like, oh, how can you say that? Like, yeah. Don't you mean agnostic? I think you mean agnostic, like because if you say atheist, it's like so
it's very final,
and like I'm like, no, I'm an atheist, and then they're like, so if like you had proof, if there was proof to you that there was some sort of God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm like, no, that's not what it means. It means that right now I don't have that proof, so I am an atheist. If there was some amazing proof, then of course, like anybody, be like, all right, well, I guess I'll reconsider my shit.
Have you ever been overlooking a spectacular canyon and seen a floating eagle above a spectacular river and felt it? Have you ever felt this? I've felt this. I'm gonna confess. I have felt this presence of something so much greater than myself that I have no other word for it than God. Even though I shun religion, I've been overwhelmed at times with that sense.
I get that. I get like they're like, oh, there's a universe around you, and whatever thing is churning and making us go forward in life. I guess you could consider that to be some force, but everybody has like, you know, it goes from like, oh, there's a force I can't control to like, you know, old guy with a beard judging my every move and watching me beat off. I mean, it's like
there's so many mysteries in the world. It's like I'm like content with the mysteries. It's like, oh yeah, like who knows how, like we know so little about anything. So it's like, it's just weird that people are like, no, this book that's like 2,000 years old, that's got to figure it out. Like you'd blow their fucking minds if you went back in time with an iPhone. They'd like,
oh yeah,
the horrible shit.
Throw it all out. Yeah. It's all out the window, people.
Yeah, like for some reason, like this book that's been like retranslated so many times by so many people with different motives. It's like, nope, this is the guidebook. That just feels crazy. But this is nuts. Maybe you've heard this too. I listened to this, just happened to listen to this TED Talk on the radio. I was driving, and this physicist was saying that the universe is always expanding, and like the one constant that's in nature and in the universe is like disorder and like mess. Like mess is easy,
chaos,
but like being neat is very difficult and very rare. And he said that now they understand enough about the universe to see that the way that it expands outward, they can look backwards and see that at one point it was like super intricately put together in a way that is like, he's like, it's beyond intelligent design. It's like to get that much matter that close and not have it all like just become huge black holes all over, it had to be like perfectly aligned. And he wasn't saying God, he's a physicist. He was like he wasn't like, so there's a God, but he was like the way that the universe used to be, like from the Big Bang on, it was like
something
immaculately packaged in a way that was very designed and definitely not like a random like spoof, like whoa, like because it just couldn't, the way you'd have to package that much matter.
Sure.
This provides me with a perfect segue, and I appreciate it, honestly.
We're gonna get into abortion now.
I've got to go on.
Way back to church.
Something new has happened to me in experiencing the onset of age. I have a boil on my ass.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not kidding. I have a boil on my
Okay.
ass. I didn't even know what one of these things was
Uh-huh.
until like 2 weeks ago. It's fucking hell. It's absolutely miserable. It's the worst thing. I think it's the worst thing. It's worse than childbirth. I can't imagine anything worse. I wonder, have you experienced the boil in the ass?
I mean,
You're going to.
No,
I think it's a thing that
no,
dudes our age
no.
had
I
happens.
think so. Is this proving that God doesn't exist? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. If there was a God.
Immaculate arrangement of matter.
Yeah. And then to bring that boil perfectly on your
Yes.
butt cheeks.
Design. I had something like that on my neck. It was like, I thought it was a zit, and then it was just like,
It's not a zit.
something so much more than a zit.
Yes.
went-
I thought the same thing.
And the dude, like, the doctor, like, just
Oh.
squeezed it, and it was just like so much disgusting goo.
They had to get out the welding mask.
And they put in like a wick. They put like this like thing in there to like help keep like draining it, and they like had to put like a pad over it. It smelled. It is the grossest.
It's
smell you
terrible.
can
It
fathom.
smells like a pair of old socks
Or
coming out of yourself.
It
Yes.
smells like an open hole in your body that was full of like this volcanic fucking dick cheese, but it was kept in your neck. Oh,
I've
it's
had
the
small
worst.
ones like that, and they'd stay around. Then I'd squeeze it, and I'd be watching TV, I'd squeeze it, give a little smell. And then my brother had them too. I was like, "Yeah, these things, and they really stink." He's like, "Yeah, I got those too." So yeah, it's
Okay.
good. So
I'm glad we could share that together.
well, we're all men approaching middle age. Maybe some are in middle age. I don't
Probably.
know.
If I don't quit smoking, I might be past
You might
middle
be
age.
past middle age. It's all stuff that happens. It's good to talk about. Everyone can share their.
Well, Scott's grandpa just died.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. And my grandma, I've got a grandma, 97 years old, and I've visited her a few times here recently. And she's got hospice care, and she's crazy, and she doesn't know who anybody is, and she's got crazy abdominal pain. And I'm just like, if there's a God, would you just fucking take care of business here, buddy? Come on, man. What the
Why
fuck?
are you letting the old lady?
Why are you
suffer?
letting her suffer?
Yeah.
I mean, she's been the matriarch of our family forever. She's been miserable for the better part of 15 years. Let's get this done, pal.
Well, I think
Where's Jack Kevorkian?
I think you've answered your own question there. So, yeah, it's good stuff though. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You get older, people start dropping off, and then you have to face your own mortality.
I got in a little trouble today, by the way.
Okay.
I complained about Nuggets bloggers, Nuggets writers,
Oh yeah.
constantly making excuses. I mean, I've been really upset. with
Andrew,
the
you
team.
follow the Nuggets at all? You pay attention to them at all?
Do you roll with the Nuggets?
A little bit. I mean, since I moved back more so, but then this season I've actually
And they're playing well. So
and
yeah.
it's like
No, they're not. They're playing like shit. That's what's really got me upset.
No, I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, they're a 2 seed. They're playing well. Not late.
But I feel like,
They're ahead of
what about
schedule.
this theory? You don't want to face the Spurs in the first round now with the Nuggets record.
There you
And
go.
The Spurs, like you don't think there's like a secret meeting of like
Drop
hey,
down a little bit.
why not let the Warriors and the Spurs
Yeah.
beat the shit out of each other for 7 games? Nobody would want to face the Spurs first round or any round in the playoffs.
No.
Even if they're the A seed, it's still Greg Popovich. That's gonna be a challenge. Whereas
I want the
let
Clippers.
Warriors Spurs. Yeah, right.
Give me
So
the Clippers.
sink
Sorry.
down.
Give me Portland.
Yeah.
play
Oh, that's-
shitty and then get seeded against Clippers.
I
I don't
think-
know. I don't actually think that they're doing that, but I'm not that sad to see them stinking it up in this tiny final stretch only because of that reason. Because what are they like? And it's like an insane statistic against Spurs. 0-13.
It's a little bit different Spurs
I know
team
they
these days.
beat them
Kawhi
once,
Leonard's
but no.
gone.
But but I like that theory. I thought teams have done that in the past, and I thought maybe they just slide a little bit to get better positioning. I know they don't do that because they have to constantly win, but maybe in the back of their minds, they're like, hey.
I feel like if I was like looking at the standings and kind of just like, oh, if we didn't do that awesome tonight,
Yeah.
like if we, we
I don't hustle
We
a
can
little
go all
bit.
out,
So.
yeah.
They wouldn't be the first team in the NBA to
That's
do that
true.
on purpose.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
So-
for goddamn sure. But I think Nuggets bloggers are soft, and that got me a little bit of trouble today. I got yelled at. Just kind of going through some of the things I want to touch on. Taylor McGregor
Yeah.
She nods too much. She's got Ali Stern syndrome. Have you noticed this? She asks
Colin's
a
got this
question.
thing with the women's sideline reporters. Colin's very supportive of women in media. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, big time.
He's very supportive, but he's also very critical. If they nod too much,
The nodding,
or if they blink too much.
Like if I ask you,
excessive.
John, tell me about your hat, and before you even start to answer the question, I'm already nodding as though I understand what you're saying. It's really fucking annoying.
That's like a TV cue, isn't it? Like if you're reporting on TV and you're almost like you're getting ready, right? You don't want them to do this, you know. You want them to, you know.
It's a difficult field. I can't think of a more difficult field to be like a woman.
Oh, absolutely.
Interviewing sweaty guys.
Thing. I mean, I feel like that's such an uphill challenge as it is that it's probably. Yeah, I don't know. I would.
He's got this jamoke.
You would nod too.
Oh, look who's fucking nodding. Yeah, I think I'd be nodding like a bobblehead.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, God. Like, this
Yeah, one, I'd be
difficult. Because I bet they feel that. I bet they feel that, like, magnifying glass from all. It is cool, though, that more and more. There's more.
Well, and more
broadcasting.
More and more, they're really good. Like Katie Winge for Altitude covering the Nuggets is as knowledgeable about basketball as anybody else on that broadcast. It's awesome. She kicks ass.
We've noted that of the four major teams in Denver, the Nuggets, the Avalanche, the Rockies, they all have women in prominent roles on the broadcast. The Broncos do not. Now, it's different because that's nationally broadcasted, but the local radio does not have women involved. And it's kind of that. It's almost like football.
Just today, it was announced that Nikki Jhabvala is going to be a full-time host and fill in.
That's on the Fan. That's different.
That's radio.
Than the actual
that's progress.
Corrected me if I'm wrong, because maybe there's a league that I don't know about. There's women's basketball, there's women's baseball, and softball, obviously. There's women's hockey.
Yes.
There's no women's tackle football, right? There's no version of that.
They play in lingerie. But yes,
they do. There's a lingerie one, but there's a real one too. I don't think they do that, but I couldn't even tell you what it is.
I feel like the interest maybe isn't the same there, just for what the sport is. It's like,
sure.
This just doesn't appeal to me.
No, you're right.
Crashing into each other.
Because anytime a woman broadcasts an NFL game, it's the people just crying about it. Oh, her voice is too high, and I don't like this, and they're just fucking assholes about it. So NFL would be like the hardest one to break into because, you know, we have them doing the Rockies games. Jenny Kavanaugh's awesome. She does a game and everyone loves it. It's fantastic.
She should be in the booth.
She should be. She absolutely should be. I just think football. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, we will. We'll get that going.
We got to define booth very carefully.
Right. Yeah, you got to make sure you right booth. But football, I think, is going to be super hard for women to break into just because of the meathead attitude.
Yeah. Speaking of football, big headline today, and I thought this was important to touch on before we get out of here. The Washington Redskins team has declared that racial slurs will not be accepted in their stadium.
Nice.
So I thought that was sweetly ironic.
How nice of them.
Yeah. Shannon Sharp actually retweeted their tweet today and said, "Oh, that's rich." They've announced that racial slurs, fans shouting racial slurs will not be allowed in Redskins Stadium.
Wow, what century is this?
That's awesome.
That's
awesome. Unless they're screaming, "Go Redskins!"
Yeah. That too. Collins said
that obstinance is so fucking insane. That teams change their name all the time. Like,
think of the marketing opportunity.
Washington Wizards, you can change a team's name.
You can do it. Yeah. He's had this great idea for a long time to rename the Redskins the Washington Americans. And it
would piss Robert Kraft of the Patriots off.
Because you could still use the Native American logo. You could still use it in a sense because you're saying, hey, Americans, Native Americans. You're still saying Americans. You could wrap flags around it, and people would eat that shit up.
Oh yeah.
And you could still call them the Skins if you wanted to, but team branding. Ameriskins.
Sounds like a Midwest organization.
Skins for me are always bad, whether it's like skinheads or if it's like, Redskins. But you can name them the Americans, and I think it would be a good rebranding. You could still use some of the same imagery. It makes sense. You'd think that they would say, hey, maybe we need to change this at some point, but they can't do that. They can't.
That's a perfect segue to our question I wanted to
throw back to please.
YouTube. Speaking of rebranding, this is a controversial topic that I keep bringing up with my Rockies Sprint fans.
Mm-hmm.
don't you think that the Rockies could benefit from a rebranding? They could still be the Rockies, but maybe like a different color scheme, redo the uniforms. I feel like it's such a 90s expansion team look that they're still rocking this the fucking black vest. That like I feel like there's probably a new uniform, a new like redesign. Even the logo, I feel like there's probably like I like that it's a CR, but the way that they did it with like the little like touches on it,
the little accents.
It looks like a stock font or something. I don't know.
I see what you mean. I think that, and this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about.
I also think you should wash your mouth out with soap.
yeah, I think you should get the hell out of here, buddy.
I told you it's a controversial.
That's very controversial. I think it goes back to that they're building this tradition. And I think if you changed it, because like the Diamondbacks change their uniforms every season, and they're ridiculous.
Ugly to
they go uglier to uglier.
But like the Broncos, they redid everything, and then they won.
They won Super
very
Bowls.
very.
But there's a bunch of talk of
I
them
don't
going
think
back.
That's why they did it.
They're talking about going back to the D on the helmet.
But they kept the same colors, and that's the important thing. And I would say, and I don't know this for sure, but something like the Dodgers have probably maybe changed the script, maybe slightly in the like the Los Angeles name only, right? And like the logos probably stayed the same forever. And that stands the test of time for me. And it's kind of like, well, you have this tradition, and they would never think about maybe do an alternate or something, but they would never change it. And I think if you change the Rockies thing now, I think you're kind of abandoning all that. I get the whole like the way it looks, like the vest thing. Yeah, it's almost like the Patriots logo, the New England Patriots logo is the most 90s looking ass thing I've ever seen. It looks horrible. The Broncos logo still looks good. I think that's a nice logo. It still looks good, but the Patriots one looks ridiculous. And that one should be changed. I don't know what they're thinking about that. That was done around the same time that Broncos logo was, and it looks horrible. It looks total 90s. I get that. I think the Rockies, I think they need to stay the course. Maybe get rid of some of those things that look a little dated. But
they got rid of the stripes on the pants this year.
Did they get rid of
the pants? Are just white now.
Yeah.
Which I'll miss the stripes because Tulo's ass looked so good.
Oh, man, he's awesome looking. But no, you know what? That's the kind of bold thinking that I appreciate, though, Andrew. I think that's thinking outside the box, as they say. And I think that's
because I feel like there is outside of Denver. Like the Rockies are just thought of as like, oh yeah, like it's the Rockies, like what
an expansion.
Coors Field, yeah, they're like a newer team,
yeah,
like the Rays and the D-backs, like kind of like these like new teams, not like the historical teams. I don't know, and I don't know what psychological effect the rebranding.
Well, but for example, if we're looking in here, I don't think the folks at home maybe they can see it. If you look at what Todd Helton's wearing compared to what Jose Canseco's wearing, that they're still using that Rockies font. They're using that logo still to this day, and that Rays thing is long gone. Yeah, they don't even call it that anymore. So they're just the Rays, right? They used to be called the Devil Rays. Yeah, that's Devil Rays. They don't even call it Devil because, as we know, Devil. We don't want the devil associated with our baseball. Yeah, so that's good stuff. Well, listen, let's get you out of here. We don't want to keep you all night, although I'm sure we could talk for hours. Tell everyone where they can find you. Please plug the hell out of those who can't. Tell everyone where they can find all your stuff.
Yeah, watch those who can. You can, if you've never seen it, you can buy it on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play.
Hulu, maybe? Hulu?
No, it's not on Hulu right now. It was for a while.
It was, yeah.
That deal expired. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at The Orbital. You'll just have to learn how to spell it.
You have to learn how to spell it, yep.
And yeah, I do comedy all over, so you can see me do stand-up. But yeah, if you love the show, just keep making noise, and maybe we'll see season 4. That'd be amazing.
It's really good. I watch it. I laugh. It's hilarious. You guys do a great job. All you guys are fantastic on it. Even the side characters are very good too. Rory, right?
Oh yeah,
that guy's hilarious.
Did you guys have Sherry O'Terry?
We did.
She was on there.
Yeah. That's great.
They've had a lot of people on there. It's very good. So it's excellent. Keep up the good work. We look forward to seeing what you guys do next.
Thanks.
So yeah, very good. It was great having you. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was it would have been a little smoother.
No, it was great.
Listen, you grab that Ben that Ben asshole and bring him down here next time. Okay, make sure you bring him with you so we can talk to him too. And see, we talked a little sports, but we talked about all sorts of crap.
We talked about God. We talked about the very existence of God. We solved it.
We did. We solved it. That's the
He's a canyon living bird flying over.
That's right. This is excellent. Thanks again. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
It's good stuff. Well, guys, this is a good show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been the South Stands Denver Fancast. Adios.
We love you, Denver!
Wait, you're supposed to play the Nuggets song.
What's
You
that?
can find it. Go with the Nuggets. You can find it. It's easy.
Yeah.
You know what? It's on like it's on something weird. It's on YouTube. It's on like a SoundCloud page or something. It's on
Yeah.
something weird.
Yeah, that's what I ran into. I couldn't find it in the traditional places.
Those Colorado Colors spring training hats.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Great.
Those
Those
are
are really
really
cool.
I'm like, that'd be cool. And like the Avs, the Avs jerseys with the
Colorado
the
ones, yeah,
flower
those are
flag.
I kind of see what you mean.
I like you see the Colorado branding shit on everything these days, so it's like
True.
CSU did it last year.
CSU did it. Yep. Bring
Sorry,
that
you guys
down.
still recording it on?
This is recording, but I'm gonna turn that off right now. So you can tell everyone to fuck off if you want before we go.
Fuck off, everyone.
Fuck off, everyone. You
All right.
jerks.
I'm gonna stop this. Thanks for tuning in, gang. We appreciate you watching. If I can find it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.